guys, welcome to the channel today. This is Danette with Perry Hill Farms. I am inside today, not much going on outside. The temperature has dropped for us. We had a little cool front coming in, so it's not been as hot outside. It's a little rainy, so I have decided that I will do a video inside today, cooking supper, and I was just going to let y'all join me here as I prepared. What I'm going to do, Stumpy had gone to a neighboring town, which is known for its tomatoes, and picked up some tomatoes for Mom, and brought them home. Well, I'm going to use them tonight to make a homemade tomato soup. I love a creamy tomato soup. Stubby's not much on a meatless meal, so how am I going to accommodate him? I'm going to fry some fresh bacon that him and Glenn and Eric had. It's been a couple weeks ago. They had butchered Glenn's 2 pigs that he got from us, and this past weekend they went, after smoking it a few days ago, they went and they sliced it and got some bacon, and he happened to bring it back home, so I'm going to fry up some bacon for him. I've got some fresh local tomatoes. I've got some onions here. I went out to the garden. That's what's great about having your own garden, and picked some bell peppers. Now, of course, the garlic I don't have from here. I've never grown garlic. I am going to grow it. I do have the seed to do it, so I am going to try my hand at garlic. And then, of course, it calls for some herbs, some parsley, some basil, some oregano, and stuff like that. Wonderful if you have that all on your farm or your homestead, but if you don't, you can just use, some dried spices from the store. It's going to be about the same. The only thing is, if you were looking for a more organic recipe, then some of those spices might have some preservatives in them. But today we're just going to worry about cooking some supper tonight. And I just thought I'd let y'all join me. Denise is not here. She's gone to take Kim to Birmingham for a doctor's appointment. And Mima always needs help there. Both guys are working. Mom's here with me. But so it's just her and I here, and we're going to get some, I'm going to get some supper going because it's time to start preparing supper. So I've got, this particular recipe calls for about 3 pounds of tomatoes, washed and quartered or something like that. So I've got, I'm going to do a double recipe because I always want to make sure that I have enough for everybody that's going to be home this evening. And so I'm going to, I've washed these, I've got them cut, I've got my onions diced, I'm going to dice up my bell peppers and get them ready. And then I've got my oven preheating. The thing about my oven today is yesterday we did a meal on the grounds at church, and so I had cooked a delicious squash dressing that was loaded in butter, and of course it boiled over into my oven. So if my oven starts smoking behind me, don't fret. It's just the butter that was left in the bottom that has been left behind. Maybe it won't do that, but I've got my oven preheating to 450. I'm going to put all of my vegetables on my cast iron pan here. I'm going to drizzle them with olive oil, and then I'm going to put all the spices on there, and I'm going to put them in the oven. And I've not ever made this recipe, so y'all are going to go, y'all always go with me on my little rendezvous, don't you? But I'm going to put them on this pan, and I'm going to roast them in the oven for about 25 minutes. And then I'm going to stir them after 15 minutes. And then the recipe here says switch it over to broil and let that go. That's what that's going to do, is going to kind of char the outside of my tomatoes to make them look roasted. So we're going to get this going and we're going to see how it goes. So here we go. Okay, so I've got my little bell peppers that I went out to the garden and I've washed them. It says for me to dice them. You know, I'll probably just come and just cut them up, you know, like a rough chop, because I think what I'm going to do with the soup later is I'm going to use my emulsifier and make it a creamy tomato soup. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these up on my cast iron. Still trying to, on the farm, you know, use as much as we can from the garden. So that we're not running into processed stuff. I recently mentioned the book Fasting Like a Girl, and I've even got Stumpy on the regimen of fasting. And you know, for someone who was hangry just a couple hours after he ate, he's really come to learn that the fasting has helped him not, you know, be as hungry. I never thought I could do it, but I've done it, and actually have lost weight. I actually feel so much better. There's one day where there's a period where she allows for you to, you shouldn't fast. And for women, it would be a time when their cycle was going, their hormones and their cycle was going, and she highly recommends that you don't fast during those days, because your emotions are probably way out of whack and just your hormones are weaker at that point. And so anyway, there's a 10-day period there that you can pretty much eat. She still encourages you to eat, you know, healthy foods, but those are the times that, you know, if I wanted to eat something sweet, I could. But you know, what it's done is it's really got me in a frame of mind of being more aware of what I'm eating. It was actually it was 8 days ago, probably, yes, because yesterday was Sunday. 8 days ago, I ate three meals in a day, and I felt terrible. And I said, I started understanding really how, you know, food can play a big part on your health. This particular recipe, while I'm thinking about it, just hit me. It calls for red bell peppers, and I didn't have any out there, so I'm just going to use my green. They all taste the same. I'm going to put my tomatoes on here, and maybe I won't dump them out in the oven as I stir them. That would be funny. That would be so Danette. Yep. So get them layered on here. We do. Stumpy did go out there and he did plant some green beans, some fall green beans in one of the raised beds. So we do have, you know, other than the peppers that were already planted, we do have some new things out there that's planted, which are some snap beans. We're excited about that. Okay, rather than just 4 cloves of garlic, I've got 8. I'm just going to pile them on here and let them roast. And then I'm going to take my onions and I'm going to put them all on here. And make sure that they're all chopped up. And then I'm going to take my olive oil, which is one of the healthiest oils you can use, because it's God's oil. That's what I call it. Oh! And Stumpy's home. Stumpy's home. So I'm going to add some parsley on here. Like I said, if you don't have yep, my oven's going to smoke. Which means my mother's going to start coughing. If you don't have your natural dried herbs, you can just get some from the store. I'm going to put some basil on here. And then I'm gonna get some oregano. Yep, my oven is smoking, which means it's gonna be pretty bad in here in just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna add the oregano. It smells good. You know, it calls for certain amounts, and I'm not measuring. I never measure. I never measure. So I've got my basil, my parsley, my oregano on there. Oops, that goes on one of them. Now I'm going to get my oil and drizzle it. My oven is smoking. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put this in the oven and let it, put this in the oven. I'm going to let it roast for about 25 minutes, 15 minutes in, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to stir it and let it broil for the last 5 minutes. Maybe I won't make a mess. Here we go. Yes, it is. All that butter on the bottom. It's gonna burn off, but I'm gonna let them go. I'll check them in 15 minutes. And then we're gonna stir them up and move them over to broil, and we'll see what happens. It'll probably smoke even more. Let me turn my fan on. So I found my bigger roasting pan. I think what I'm going to do when I go to stir, I'm fixing to stir, I'm going to just dump them in here and let them finish out that 20 minutes, and then I'm going to broil them for 5 minutes. I can smell the garlic, I can smell the onions. It smells really, really good. So we're at the point where I would go in and stir it. So I think I'm going to pull them out and just dump them in this pan and then put them back in the oven and let them finish out their time from there. That way I won't dump them down in the ground on the floor and make a bigger mess. But you can smell the herbs. My oven actually did quit smoking. I'm gonna do it like that. Do it like that. And give it a good stir. Get my glove on. Give it a good stir. Mix the olive oil up with all of those vegetables. I hope I got a big enough pan to cook it in. We'll see. Okay, back into the oven. It's gonna go. That was much better, didn't make a mess. I'm gonna let it finish out the last 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna switch it over to broil and let it go a little bit longer and see if I can get them. Meanwhile, let me show you what I have. Okay, so it calls for heavy whipping cream, and I don't have any, but I do have fresh cow milk with cream still in it. So a single recipe calls for half a cup. Since I'm doubling it, I've got a cup of some of October Grace's milk here. It does call for 2 cups of chicken stock, but at our home we use rabbit stock, and this is some of the fresh rabbit stock that Stumpy has put up. It's normally 2 cups, but since I'm doubling it, it's going to be 4 cups. So I have that ready. I'm going to go ahead and add that to my pot here. I'm not going to add the cream yet, but I'm just going to add that chicken stock or rabbit stock and let it start heating up on the eye, so that whenever I bring out the tomatoes after they're going to broil for a little while, I'm going to add. This will be already up to a boil. I'm going to add all of the tomatoes to this. Hopefully all that will fit in here. And then I'm going to get my emulsifier out, and I'm going to emulsify it. And then I'm going to add the cream, and I'm going to let it simmer. And then it's going to be a creamy tomato. I will test it, sample taste it, and see if it needs any salt or anything. I'll probably add some more because I haven't put any salt in it, but we'll see. But right now I'm going to get this up to boiling, and we've got about a minute left here. I'm going to switch it over to broil. Okay, so I gave it one more stir, and I went ahead and turned it over to broil. What I'm going to do is for 5 minutes, I'll check it out and see what it looks like, see if the tomatoes have kind of turned burnt looking. If they hadn't, I might let them go a little bit longer, I don't know. But then I'm going to put them in the pot, and I'm going to let them simmer here and get really soft. When I think that the onions and the peppers and the garlic is all soft and ready to emulsify, I'll use my emulsion blender. I'll blend it up, let it go a little bit longer, and then I think the last thing I'll do is add the cream, emulsify it in there, and just let it simmer. And then at that point, I'll start cooking my bacon and my grilled cheese sandwiches, and hopefully by then, everybody will be ready to eat. Okay, let's see what this looks like after I broiled it some. Ooh, they're starting to, woo, that's hot. They're starting to shrivel up some. Let's see. There's my 5 minutes. I'm gonna let them go a little bit longer, and then I think I'll take them out after this and put them in here, because this is ready. The chicken broth is ready. It's already heated to a boil. So I'm gonna get this out and get it to go in here. Ooh, that is hot. Look at that, isn't that pretty? All my roasted stuff. And I'm gonna add it to my pot. And rather than embarrass myself on my channel, I'm just going to use a ladle and add this stuff to my pot. Ooh, it smells good. Now, before I add the cream, part of the recipe said, you know, if your tomatoes are real ripe, you don't need to add cream. So I'm going to just see how they look when I get them in here, and emulsify them and see what it looks like. I'm going to add all this juice to it. All this juice. I absolutely love a good tomato basil soup. Now, when I was growing up, you couldn't get me to eat a tomato. No, sir. No, sir. Okay, so, well, that worked out perfect. Okay, which is great. Let's see what this looks like. I've got this looks really good. You want to see it? This is going to be before I emulsify it. So I'm fixing to emulsify it. Maybe I won't make a mess. Make it creamy. I'm never good with these things. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I want to see what it looks like. Okay, I haven't gotten all the tomatoes emulsified. I'm going to let them simmer some, and maybe they'll soften up, but it looks really good. I can't wait. So I'm going to let that simmer, and we'll come back to it and add the cream and then emulsify it some more. Okay, so I've moved it over to this side because I'm going to get ready to start frying bacon on that one. But this is before the cream or October Graces. But look at that, that's pretty. I think I am going to add a little bit of cream. There's still some chunks of tomatoes in there. And I'm just going to leave it on low and let it sit. I'm going to go, I might wait. I saw a chunk of bell pepper still in there. And I haven't sampled the flavor. Let me get a spoon and see if it's got enough salt. That is pretty. Can you see that? Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Let me come back just a little bit. That is beautiful. Ooh, it's full of flavor. Yes. That is good. Some recipes have you take the peeling out. And you can. That looks good. Okay, so I'm going to put this cream in here. I'm going to add the cream. Just going to make it extra rich. Going to add a little bit more garlic. Let it be simmering. gonna let this simmer right here. Let the flavors marinate in there. And get the bacon going. Okay, so here's the bacon that we did for Glenn. And it is from our Berkshire pig and our Mangalitsa pig mix. Look at this bacon, boy, it looks so good. It smells so good, fresh smoked. Look at that. That is so pretty. That bacon smells so good. You know, one thing you don't get in the store bacon is you do not get that smoky smell like you do on fresh smoked bacon that you do yourself. So, I'll let that go. Yum, yum. Okay, we're all done. Got the grilled cheese going. Good, gooey grilled cheese. The key to grilled cheese is real butter. And then we slap a little bit of mayonnaise on it between the cheese and the bread and grill it. And it makes it so creamy. Man, that's good. Uncle Glenn's bacon. That is our Mangalitsa. I cooked that a little long, but that's okay. Uh-oh. It's crunchy. And then, of course, our tomato soup. It still has chunks of peppers, but it smells so good. Let's see how it tastes. Oh, you know what I forgot? Parmesan cheese. Let me grab it. I think I'll use a little bit of both. I'll use some of this shredded. This is a mixture of Italian cheese. I'll put some on the top. Ooh, yeah. And then a little bit of, well, that's not even open. Okay. Let's see. That's good. It's the cheesiest. It's the cheesiest. So, it didn't take me but just a couple of hours to whip up this soup from the garden. Pretty much stuff I had around the house to cook up. Grilled cheese sandwich, homemade bacon. It's really, really, really good. Thank y'all for joining me today on this video. Just want to help y'all see that you can cook meals from the garden, from the things you have at home, and it's good. Just in time for the fall of the year, which is not too far away. But we appreciate you watching, guys. Remember, a simple life is a much more enjoyable life. If we don't see you in Jemison, we'll see you on the next video. God bless. You take care.